Welcome to the deep dive. You've brought us a source today that's definitely sparking some conversations, a Wikipedia deep dive on something called the enhanced games.
That's right. Yeah. We're looking at this pretty comprehensive Wikipedia article. It really lays out the basic idea, who's involved, and importantly, the reactions, which have been, well, intense.
Okay, so our mission for this deep dive, let's really try to unpack this. Where did it come from? What's the core argument? What's the pushback?
And crucially, what does this source actually tell us about where it stands now and if it could, actually become a thing?
Exactly. It feels like a dive into something pretty controversial that could genuinely challenge, well, how we view sports altogether.
Okay, so let's start with the concept, the big picture. The enhanced games proposed as an annual multi-sport event. Simple enough so far.
But the kicker.
The kicker, the defining feature, is allowing athletes to use performance-enhancing substances, PEDs.
Right. So that whole WADA system, the drug testing we see everywhere else.
Gone. Out. That's the core difference.
But interestingly, the source does point out it's not like you have to use them to compete.
No, exactly. It's an option, not a requirement. That's a key clarification in the article.
And it's not just drugs, right? The source mentioned other tech.
Yeah, things like advanced prosthetics, maybe certain shoe technologies too. Those are also explicitly allowed under this concept.
Okay, so if substances are allowed, are there any rules? Or is it just a free-for-all?
No, there are limits mentioned.
Hmm.
The founder stated that apparently for insurance reasons, only substances approved by the U.S. FDA, the Food and Drug Administration, would be permitted.
Ah, okay. FDA approval is the line.
Right. And the article specifically says things like cocaine and heroin are definitely out, prohibited. So it's performance enhancers, yes, but within that FDA-approved framework.
Got it. And how are they planning to group athletes, like men's and women's events?
Proposal mentioned in the source is to categorize athletes based on chromosomal sex.
Okay, so that's the idea. Ditch the drug bans, allow tech, follow FDA rules for substances categorized by chromosomes. Now, the timeline. Because the source suggests the plans have kind of shifted around a bit.
They definitely have. It was first announced back in June 2023. The initial list of sports was pretty broad track: swimming, weights, gymnastics, combat sports.
And the first event was supposed to be pretty soon, wasn't it?
Yeah, originally they were talking December 2024.
Mm.
And the founder, he initially threw out a number like maybe a couple of thousand athletes. Pretty ambitious.
So that changed.
It did. By August 2023, they'd scaled back that 2024 plan. Called it more of a smaller exhibition event.
Like a preview.
Sort of. And
Oh.
pushed the full event to 2025.
Okay, so 2024 became a soft launch, maybe. What's the latest from the source on dates and location?
Well, the most recent update mentioned in the article, that was from May 2025. Targets May 2026 for the full games.
2026, and the location.
Resorts World, Las Vegas. Which is, a big step up from an earlier idea about maybe using a university campus.
Vegas. Okay, that signals something. And they've narrowed the sports for that first main event, too.
Yeah, for 2026, the focus is apparently on swimming, track and field, and weightlifting. Just those three to start.
It does feel like the plan is evolving, maybe based on, well, reality checks, funding, logistics.
Absolutely. The source mentions funding is key. While the founder later claimed, thousands were interested, picking a big venue like Resorts World suggests they're aiming for a specific scale, assuming the money comes through.
All right, let's get into the people then. Who's driving this? The main guy is the founder, Iran D'Souza.
Right. Aaron D'Souza, Australian businessman based in London. He's the president. The article says the idea came to him after seeing steroid use in a U.S. gym.
And his reasons. The why behind it all. The source quotes him quite a bit.
Yeah, a big part of his argument, as quoted, is athlete autonomy, bodily freedom. He uses that phrase, my body, my choice, your body, your choice.
Applying that language here is interesting.
It is. And he pushes back against, governments or sports bodies telling adult athletes what they can or can't do, especially with things already approved by the FDA.
So it's framed as an individual rights issue. But he also seems to have major problems with the current sports establishment.
No, definitely. Very critical of the IOC, the International Olympic Committee, calls them corrupt, greedy.
And WA, the anti-doping agency.
He calls WADA an anti-science police force for the IOC. Pretty blunt. He also thinks the Olympics underpay athletes and have too many, quote, irrelevant sports.
So this isn't just about allowing PEDs. It's positioned as a fundamental challenge to the whole Olympic model. How does he envision the enhanced games operating differently then?
Well, he's quoted saying they can cut out all the waste, the bureaucracy, the big infrastructure builds, basically run it much leaner.
For virtually nothing, I think the quote was.
Yeah, and the idea is to use the profits to pay athletes better, invest in R&D for performance tech, and just build a bigger event over time. It's presented as this stripped-down, efficient, athlete-first alternative.
A disruptive model, essentially. The source also mentions his background a bit involved in that Belia versus Gawker case with Peter Thiel.
Yes, and co-founding a company called Sargon. It paints a picture of someone connected in tech and finance circles.
And interestingly, he says he's never used PEDs himself.
Yeah, the article notes that specifically.
Okay, so besides D'Souza, who else is involved, according to the source? Any other notable names early on?
It lists a few Olympians: Brett Fraser, Roland Showman, Christina Smith, and the geneticist George Church.
George Church, wow, okay.
And German billionaire Christian Angermayer is named as a co-founder.
So some serious backers. What about the funding? Where's the money actually coming from?
Well, they announced a multi-million-dollar investment round in January 2024. Venture capitalists, Peter Thiel again, Balaji Srinivasan, names often associated with, let's say, challenging established norms.
And there was another more recent investor announcement that caught some eyes?
Yes, February 2025. Donald Trump Jr.'s venture fund, 1789 Capital, got involved.
Okay. And the source includes his rationale. We should probably state that neutrally.
Right. The article quotes him saying, "The enhanced games represent the future, real competition, real freedom, and real records being smashed. This is about excellence, innovation, and American dominance on the world stage, something the MAGA movement is all about."
Okay. Duly noted. So that adds another layer to the political and ideological dimensions here. Now, shifting back to athletes, James Magnuson, the swimmer, he became quite a focal point, didn't he?
He really did. Former Olympic medalist. Announced in Feb 2024 he was coming out of retirement specifically for the enhanced games.
And the goal?
To break the 50-meter freestyle world record.
And DISA put up a big prize for that, right?
$1 million.
Yeah.
A huge incentive, publicly pledged. And Magnuson himself was very outspoken about it.
The source quotes him saying he does, what was the phrase?
Juice to the gills.
Yeah.
To break the record in 6 months. Very provocative language.
Definitely gets attention. What else did he say about why he was doing it?
Mentioned the money, obviously setting him up for a decade. Yeah. And he sort of framed sport as entertainment, maybe taken too seriously sometimes.
But he added a really important caveat, didn't he?
Crucial, yes. The source includes his disclaimer. This is not for everyone, and it is certainly not something for young athletes. That's a direct quote.
That feels significant to include. Did the source detail what he was actually taking?
It did. As of May 2025, Magnuson had stated he'd used testosterone, BTC 157, CGC 1295, ipamorelin, and thymosin. Pretty open about the regimen.
Okay, so you have Magnuson, the $1 million prize, his statements, the specific drugs. But then there was a twist with that record attempt.
A big twist. Just announced in May 2025, according to the source, another swimmer, Christian Gouomeyev from Greece. He apparently broke the 50-meter freestyle world record unofficially at a private event back in April 2025, before the actual enhanced games.
Whoa, so he beat Magnuson to it and won the $1 million.
That's what the announcement, cited in the source, claims. His time was 20.89 seconds, just fractionally faster than the official record held by Cesar Cielo.
Wow, so the concept is already generating these kinds of high-stakes record attempts and payouts even before the main event, which I guess leads us right into the reactions, because allowing PEDs, well, you'd expect strong opinions.
Oh, absolutely. And the source details a massive, mostly negative response, especially from the establishment.
Right. D'Souza and others claim lots of athlete interest, hundreds, maybe thousands contacting them, talk of sleeper athletes waiting.
Yeah, D'Souza mentioned potentially 500 sleeper athletes, even 2024 Olympians joining later. But the source also points out, like CNN observed early on, that very few athletes were actually going public with support.
And the media quickly coined a nickname, didn't they?
Steroid Olympics. Yeah, that tag popped up pretty fast and kind of set the tone for a lot of the coverage.
Okay, let's break down the reactions. Official bodies first. Overwhelmingly negative based on the source.
Completely. The IOC said it would destroy any concept of fair play. Called it completely at odds with Olympic values.
National Olympic Committees.
Australia's called it dangerous and irresponsible. Sweden's ill-conceived, simply not sport. Very strong language.
And the anti-doping world, Predictable reaction there.
Entirely predictable. UK anti-doping. PEDs have no place in sport, nor the enhanced games.
USADA's chief, Travis Tygart.
He was quoted calling it a dangerous clown show, not real sport. Farcical, he said. World Athletics head Seb Coe basically dismissed it, saying nobody in athletics takes it seriously.
And WADA itself warned athletes.
Yeah, warned that just participating could lead to anti-doping rule violations under their code. So a clear stay-away message.
Okay, united front from officialdom. What about sports medicine groups, health organizations?
Similar concerns. Sports Medicine Australia said no support from their members as healthcare professionals. The Australian Sports Commission head said he couldn't imagine any responsible and ethical person thinking it was sensible.
Even the U.S. government weighed in.
Yeah, the ONDCP, the Office of National Drug Control Policy, stated the Biden administration had deep concerns, and the International Federation of Sports Medicine worried about exploiting young people.
So the main themes from institutions are safety, fairness, the definition of sport, and protecting athletes, especially young ones. What about individuals within sports, athletes, former athletes? More mixed there, according to the source.
A bit more mixed, yeah, but still mostly critical or very cautious. You had cyclist Anna Meares calling it unfair, unsafe.
And Joseph Papp, another cyclist who'd served a doping ban.
He was pretty scathing. Said it invites recklessness, danger. Even referenced an old Saturday Night Live skit about athletes taking as many drugs as possible without actually dying.
Oof. Dark humor, maybe? Others?
Badminton player Susan Eaglestaff called it a massive danger. So lots of clear opposition focused on risk.
But there were some more, maybe, nuanced takes. People who saw some angle, even if they wouldn't do it themselves.
There were. Swimmer Liesl Jones said she wouldn't compete because of the risks, but she admitted curiosity about performance limits.
And she raised an interesting side point.
Yeah, she wondered if it might, ironically, help clean up traditional sport by attracting those who want to dope. Like, if they go there, maybe mainstream sport gets cleaner. An interesting thought.
Anyone else?
Swimmers Libby Trickett and Mark Foster both kind of acknowledged the fascination, the money aspect, but they stressed hoping for medical supervision if people did participate.
Right. That medical supervision point keeps coming up. And one former Aussie rules player was actually positive.
Adam Cooney, yeah. He found it enticing, thought lots of athletes would probably give it a go if they could.
Okay, so a spectrum, but weighted towards concern. How about scientists and academics, looking at it through their lens?
Safety was a big theme there, too. Andy Maya, a professor studying this stuff, called it a provocation. He specifically noted that the website materials he looked at didn't seem to address health risks adequately. No mention of medical oversight.
Wait, but didn't the source also quote D'Souza and Fraser saying supervision was planned? Clinical checks, screenings?
Ah, yes, you caught that. This is a really interesting point highlighted by the source. Mia criticizes the lack of info on the website he saw. But elsewhere, the article quotes Fraser saying supervision is mandatory and D'Souza talking about pre-competition blood tests, EKGs, the whole works.
So there's a disconnect. Or maybe the plans weren't fully publicized when Mia looked.
Could be either. Or maybe the plans are still being finalized. The source presents both the criticism and the organizers' stated intentions about safety measures. It definitely flags that as an area where the details seem, well, maybe not fully transparent or consistently communicated yet.
That's a really important nuance the source captures. What other academic viewpoints were mentioned?
Grigory Rodchenkov, the Russian whistleblower, he just called it a danger to health and sport, plain and simple.
Others.
John William Devine argued it would worsen inequality. Those with money get better enhancements. John Hoberman, who writes on doping, found D'Souza's whole concept scientifically simplistic and shallow.
But not all negative. There was one alternative view.
Yeah, Ronald Bailey, a science writer, he basically said, let the fans decide. If people want to watch enhanced athletes, let them. Shifted the focus to audience choice.
That's a totally different way of framing it as an entertainment product. Okay, finally, media reactions. Seems like a real mix there too, according to the source.
All over the map, really. Lots of skepticism and criticism. The Spectator argued sport needs natural advantage to be compelling. Cyclist magazine asked, who would even sponsor this?
Concerns about viability and appeal.
Right. A Globe and Mail writer was curious but wouldn't want to be that athlete. Doubted top competitors would join. The Sydney Morning Herald. Dangerous, iniquitous concept. Straight criticism.
Any specific critiques beyond just safety or fairness?
Yeah, Outsports took issue with D'Souza using LGBTQ+ terms like coming out for athletes admitting PED use, though they also noted D'Souza himself is gay.
Okay. But some media outlets seemed more intrigued or saw it as a serious venture.
Definitely. The Daily Telegraph compared it favorably in terms of planning to the failed European Super League in soccer, said it seemed more fleshed out.
Hmm. Interesting comparison.
The Independent described D'Souza as intelligent and well-connected
Hmm.
and deadly serious about making it happen. So acknowledging the potential, perhaps.
And some leaned into the spectacle aspect.
Yeah, Outkick's writer basically said, humans love watching incredible feats, modern gladiators, and PEDs for performance are fine in that context. Entertainment value.
The Financial Times
Called it a weird thought experiment, but conceded it could gain traction. And they noted, impartially, D'Souza's comment about a potential second Trump regime helping the games.
and the Times.
Saw it as divisive, even dystopian,
Yeah.
but acknowledged D'Souza genuinely sees it as the future of sport.
It's clearly hitting a nerve, getting covered beyond just the sports pages.
Absolutely. The source mentions Time magazine included D'Souza and Angermeyer in their 2025 list of influential people in health. And The Economist linked it to the broader trend of human enhancement technologies.
So it's being seen as part of a larger societal shift, perhaps. There was even a docuseries planned.
Yeah, Ridley Scott's company and Rob McElhenney's production company were planning one. McElhenney was quoted saying it deserved a deep exploration. But the source notes those plans were later shelved.
Shelved. Okay. So bringing all this together from the source, what's the takeaway? This enhanced games concept, whether it happens exactly as planned or not, it's really forcing a conversation, isn't it?
It absolutely is. It throws a massive wrench into our standard ideas about sport, fairness, what natural even means, health risks versus personal choice.
And the future of human ability, really.
Exactly. It makes you, the listener, confront some fundamental questions. What do we truly value when we watch sports? Is it the struggle within perceived natural limits, the result of pure discipline?
Or is it seeing the absolute peak of human performance, regardless of how it's achieved? Pushing boundaries by any means necessary within certain safety rules they claim they'll have.
It draws a line, or maybe blurs a line, between human achievement and enhancement via science and tech. Where does sport fit on that continuum?
Yeah.
And, as that one academic perspective hinted, if enhancement tech keeps advancing, which it is, what does that mean for how we even define sport in the future?
Where do we draw that line between competitive fairness, as we've known it, and individual freedom or the pursuit of the ultimate performance? Definitely something to think about long after this deep dive ends.